Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rusty78609, and this is another thrilling Beer 30 Sanity session, which is what it is, guys. It's a chance for you and me to chill out, put the week behind us, and enjoy this moment right here, right now, right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. Here's to you, here's to me. Skål, cheers, prost. Been a good week. I hope it's been a good week for you. Now we got to focus on sanity. What is sanity? Sanity is whatever you want it to be. Mainly you want to be free. You can be sane, but you want to be free. You understand what I'm saying? You know where I'm coming from, dude? Say, get down home. Say, yeah. Anyway, what else we got going on here, guys? What I'm going to tell you is this. Oh, the Hyundai car is sold, gone, poof. That one's done. What else? There's a guy coming by tomorrow to give me a bid on trimming a tree. Ta-da! And also, I got some information from the builder, and I will give you an update on that tomorrow. So stay tuned for the noon video tomorrow for a big announcement. You understand what I mean? At least big to me. But what I'm going to talk about now, and this may help you go more insane than anything, is I'm going to talk about poverty, my own poverty. I mean, there was a time, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, when I graduated from high school, I kind of rocked along like this, and then I got bumped into the service, and then when I got out, I came back, got out of college, and started doing this. I mean, I went way up into that rarefied air, country clubs, and all that shit, and then I came down just about as fast, because in 1987 there was a stock market crash. I was doing some business with tax-deferred annuities and other stuff. Not a good time for that. And also I had a few clients in the oil and gas business, but enough said about that, because I was a CPA bean counter type, and all that just went away, poof. And I had just gotten a divorce on top of all of that. So there I was with no money and no honey. You got me? I mean, nothing. N-O-T-I-N. But anyway, I moved to near Austin, Texas, and went for, just when you think you've hit the bottom, get ready. I'm telling you, it's a false bottom. You go right on down there where the whale turds hit the bottom. You know what I mean? And then right under, when you're looking up at whale shit, you are on the bottom. You understand what I'm saying? God damn, that's whale shit up there, man. Anyway, enough said about that. But yeah, what it was. Anyway, I was busted. I mean, like, seriously busted. I mean, I had a little bit of savings, but I mean, it was going out faster than anything. I couldn't get a damn job. I mean, I could not get a job. I mean, here I was with CPA with 15, 20 years experience. Nobody'd hire me. Why? Well, you know, they'd say things like, well, you're overqualified. I heard that. Another one was, we need somebody, but you won't stay. You know, because we can't pay you what you're used to getting and all that stuff. I heard every excuse in the world. In fact, one time, I think I may have told this story before, and if I have, just write it off to old-timers, stupidity, and brain dead, okay? But anyway, for some of you, for both of you that haven't heard it before, but anyway, I mean, I tried to get a ditch digging job, couldn't get that. I mean, I actually did. I applied. I saw this housing development going up. I was driving a 75 or 6 Datsun pickup. It barely ran, and anyway, but I bought it for $800, and I was glad to have that. And so what else? But anyway, yeah, I went up there and applied for that job, and they told me, hell, man, you ain't gonna stay around here. I said, well, I guess I ain't, because you ain't gonna give me a chance anyway. But anyway, I just thought I'd take a shot at it. But anyway, what else? But I will tell you this, and I may have told you this before. I hope I haven't. If I have, just again, forgive me for being brain dead, and then we'll move on to something else. It doesn't take long, and it's painless, and it'll help you maintain your sanity, because you'll see that I maintain my sanity barely through all of this crap. Anyway, there I was with no money, and anyway, through a kind of a semi-bar room friend, I was put in touch with a guy that had a travel trailer for rent, and he would rent it for $75 a month, all right, including all bills paid, $75 a month. Well, you got to know that this RV was a real dream. You know what I mean? Well, it was. It was gross, man. It was gross. It stunk. The sewer, to flush the toilet, you put a little water in it and you flush it. You take a stick. You know what I mean. And anyway, it didn't have a septic and it wasn't hooked up to the sewer. What he'd done is he'd got this PVC pipe and stuck it together, and he had about 50 or 60 feet that kind of went down a hill. That was it, guys. I ain't kidding you. $75 a month, and I was glad to have it. And yeah, no kidding. I'd get up in the mornings and go walking, and I'd just keep repeating over and over, the good times are coming, man. And they weren't. Nothing was happening. Everything was going south. And the guy that owned it, man, was Dr. Strange. You know what I mean? This guy was, and he was kind of big. You know what I mean? And what had happened was, well, I don't want to tell you too much about him because somebody might recognize it. But anyway, he had been kind of semi-famous at one time, but he was in a car wreck, and it hit his frontal lobe, damaged his brain and stuff. Well, he wasn't semi-famous anymore. He was semi-weird. I mean, as in mega weird. This guy was nuts. But anyway, he was my landlord, and every now and then, to make a little money, he did electrical jobs, like handyman electrical work, and every now and then there was a job that he could use two people on. Well, I'd go with him, and he just knocked that off the rent. And most of the time, I never paid any rent. He owed me more than rent. And so anyway, and that worked out pretty good. But going with him, man, he was nuts, man. He'd get mad in traffic, and he'd stop, and he'd grit his teeth, and he'd do this stuff at somebody. And I'm thinking, boy, one of these days you're going to win the 45 lottery. But enough said. So anyway, one day, and this will kind of end the story, I'm in my little RV there, and it was during the O.J. Simpson trials. Okay, if you remember that, it was that period. And I had like a coat hanger I'd rigged up for this little TV that was in there, and it worked. The TV worked, but I mean, the picture was kind of fuzzy and stuff, but it had good sound. It was okay. It was about this big, a little bitty one. Anyway, so I was watching that, and I always, well, there was no place to sit, really. I mean, there was a little dining table, but there was a bed. I'd lay on that bed, and there was a window, just like most RV, there's a window by the bed, and I'd check outside every now and then. Well, one day, I was looking out the window, and I thought I saw a lady in a dress, all right, that went around the corner, that kind of flashed by my window and went right around the corner of the house, which was about 20 feet away. I thought, was that a woman? And anyway, a few minutes later, I look out the window, and what caught my attention, there was something on the roof. And it was a lady, almost. It was Mr. Fruitcake dressed up in one of his mother's dresses, and she was dead. His mother and daddy were dead, and he was living in their house, okay? But their clothes were still there. So he had on his mother's dress. He's on the roof of the house, and I'm renting from him? He's my landlord? Are you kidding me? I thought, oh man, oh man. Well, let me tell you guys, again, just when you think you've hit the bottom, get ready. You can go right on through that, and you'll think that where you were was heaven. Well, anyway, I had a pistol at that time. I did. And many a time I'd had it in my hand, because this guy was wacko, man. And he was big, and he was strong. He was damn strong, man. And I didn't want him to get his hands on me. And anyway, yeah, he was up on the roof in his mother's dress, man. Yo. Well, anyway, what was shortly after that, I finally got me a job. It was an assembly plant thing. I made a little money there, and then kind of moved on up a little bit. Got back on my feet a little bit. Ended up going in the Peace Corps. Came back from the Peace Corps, and then we'll go to another story. But yeah, man, there's some weird dudes in this world. If you see a man driving down the highway with a dress on, don't jack with him, because he is gone. You know what I mean? He is insane. And we're talking about Sanity. Well, anyway, when I got back from the Peace Corps, I went out and lived on Terlingo Ranch out by Big Bend in West Texas, and I had an old 1985 some kind of travel trailer. I was towing it with a 79 Chevrolet pickup. I lived out there I had no power, no water. You had to go get water at the Terlingo Ranch. It was about a 40-minute drive. And yeah, but it was okay. I mean, I had a propane cooking device. And of course, I had no air conditioning, none of that stuff. But it was okay. I mean, I was into that, And so, but I used to go on walks, long walks, man. I'd be gone for 4 or 5 hours out in that desert. And, you had to be careful of javelinas because the brush out there is just a little bit taller than a javelina hog. And javelina hogs can be damn mean if you jack with their young ones or whatever. So anyway, one story is I was walking to go up to this hill where there was a big cattle watering trough and stuff, and it was a perfect view, and there was a big tree there, shade, and I thought, well, I'll go get up there in that shade for a while. On the way up there, it's just a little trail, a cattle trail, a cow trail, and I was going up that trail, and all of a sudden I noticed on both sides, man, I'm surrounded by these damn javelina hogs, man. They can't see worth the crap, but they can hear and smell. That little old snout of theirs, they can probably smell for miles. Anyway, because we raise hogs, I know a little bit about them. But enough. If you ever get surrounded by them and they come at you, hit them right on the snout. That's like kicking them in the balls. Anyway, enough said. But so here I was surrounded by all them damn hogs. I thought, well, this is it. Shit, So the best thing to do is if you haven't disturbed any of the young or the females, you're probably in pretty damn good shape. And so I didn't hear any squealing, so I just stopped. Okay, I thought, well, I haven't screwed up yet, so let's don't continue. So anyway, they don't hang around long. They're milling around, eating, whatever they do. And finally, they moved on out of the way, and I got out of that without getting killed. That was one. And then the second one was, I was actually staying, this was before I ended up on the Terlingua Ranch. I was staying at, you remember Jim Blocker from, I guess, was he on Bonanza or what it was? But anyway, he was a football player at the university out there in Alpine, Texas. And Dan Blocker, that was his name, Dan Blocker. But he had he had a little place near Studi Butte, Texas. I don't remember the entrance number. They have gate numbers, but maybe gate number 2. But down that road a little ways, he had a horse pen, and then there was like a mobile home hookup. But he wasn't there obviously anymore. But that old pen was there, and so anyway, I pulled my RV down there. Somebody rented it to me for like $125 a month. I had to pay the electricity, but that was fine. And so yeah, but I was working then too. I was working at Lajitas part-time, the resort, and and staying there in my RV. It was only about 25 miles to Lajitas, 30, whatever it was. And but anyway, most of the time I was off anyway, so I'd take these long walks again. Well, one day in the Christmas Mountains, that's the area where I was then, you could take a long walk and you go around this one pretty big mountain and loop all the way back around to the RV, and that was a good 2-hour walk. I mean, it was a long ass walk, and I like to do that every now and then because nobody there, you never saw anybody and nothing, and it was a beautiful view. So anyway, one day I was walking around there and I noticed a little trail that went up the side of the mountain. It was about maybe 18 inches wide. It had been an old Native American trail that they used to go up there, and because there was like, it went up, it made a big horseshoe. The trail made a big horseshoe and then came back down the other side. It was a hell of a shortcut, but I'll tell you more about that. But anyway, at the very peak, as you went way up to the peak, there was a spring that came out of the mountain and flowed down to a little puddle at the bottom of the mountain. And, animals would come there, and, of course, I'm sure you could drink the water. But anyway, I saw that little trail there on the side of the mountain, so I started going up that trail. And because I thought, hell, this would be a hell of a shortcut, and I'm kind of tired anyway. So anyway, I go up the damn mountain. I get all the way to the top, which is, I don't know, I'd say 400 or 500 feet above the ground from where I was, maybe more. I'm not sure. It was a long ass way. But when you get right up to the peak, where the stream comes out of the mountain, there was a gap of about 3 feet. The trail A ends, you got the spring in the middle, and then trail B continues on the other side. Well, that's wonderful. However, if you're going from stepping from trail A to trail B and you screw up C, then you end up dead D. You understand? I mean, but anyway, when you're young and foolish, I stood there for a few minutes and I thought, well, do I want to kind of run and jump, or I just want to take a long stride? Well, anyway, enough. End of story. I did make it. But those are the few foolish things you do when you're a little insane. You know what I mean? Because if I'd have missed that, lost my balance, we wouldn't be having this conversation. That was one. And then the last Terlingua story I'll tell, now shut up about that crap, was there was one area where there was a big hill and there was a mesa on top. A mesa is basically what, a tabletop, a flat top. A mesa is a flat top mountain, I guess you'd say. Well, anyway, I wanted to get up on that damn mesa because it looked like it had a beautiful view. So I went around there and walked around. Finally, it looked like I could go. I mean, it was, it was pretty straight up, in a lot of places, but there was a little washout that you could follow and get between boulders and stuff. And if you did it just right, you could get up on the top of the mesa. Wonderful. I did it. So I get up on top of the mesa. It's a huge place. It's probably a quarter mile circle, a quarter mile in diameter. It's a huge damn mesa. So anyway, I'm walking around there enjoying the view, boy, beautiful weather and stuff. And all of a sudden I thought, well, let's go back down. I couldn't remember how I got up on the mesa. Well, everywhere else is just a sheer drop, you know what I mean? Except for that one spot that I came in. It was all grown up with brush all around the top and the side and stuff. I thought, well, this is genius. You got yourself up here, now you can't figure out how to get your ass down, boy. Anyway, so what I did was, my old calculatus eliminatus, thank God for that thinking. What I did was I put a rock where I was. And I'd go forward about 10 feet, check everything out, and then I'd move a little more and a little more and a little more. With the calculatus eliminatus, finally, I passed it one time and I had to go back around again. But I did, I found it, and I got the hell out of there. But see, that's another foolish thing you do, and when your mouth gets dry, you should always remember, take a swallow of your beer. Here's to you, here's to me. Mm-hmm. So that was another dumb thing I did. And here's something else I'll tell you, and this was out in Terlingua too. I would walk down creek beds because, I thought, well, shit, you never know what you'll find in an old creek bed. I never found anything, but I walked looking. And anyway, but I went down this one creek bed. It had high walls. The walls were probably, I'd probably say 20 feet, maybe 30 feet in places, But that where it made a turn at one of the deepest places, up on the side was a cave. I mean, it was a pretty good opening too. It was probably 6 feet in diameter, a cave, and you could see where, animals and stuff had been going in and out of there because the ground was packed, and and I saw some tracks that looked like it was mountain lion tracks going up into the cave. I should have had enough sense to see if they were coming back out. So you want to see the tracks coming out away from the cave, and then you can go in, maybe. Well, anyway, what I decided, I thought, hell, I'll just kind of peep in here, and see what's going on. Might be some old artifacts or something. Well, anyway, I did. I walked in about a step and a half, and I heard something moving in the dark. Well, from where I was, to get to where I was from my RV had taken me about a full hour. But when I heard that sound in that cave, you know how long it took me to get back? 3 seconds. And I was standing at the front of my RV. I mean, pow, man. You'd be surprised how fast you can move, man. I'm telling you. Anyway, those are just some of the old stories I had. But life is what it is, and you got to enjoy what you have, while you're here. And again, tomorrow, don't forget, I got a noon video. I'll give you an update on what's going on with this building thing, and what else. But anyway, I've got plans. I got a lot of plans. Old Rusty's got plans. But anyway, guys, maintain your sanity the best you can. Chill out, relax, take a deep breath. Hold it for a few seconds and breathe out slowly. Why? Because that relieves stress. And if you've been working all week long, driving a truck or working at a place where people are coming in and out and driving you nuts, you deserve it. So here's to you, here's to me. Skål, cheers, prost. With that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this ends another thrilling chapter of Beer 30 Sanity Session. Now that I've told you about all the insane things that I've seen and done, and there's more to come, and I probably repeat myself a lot, and if I do, I do. Just write it off to stupidity. I don't care, or leave some smart ass remark. Anyway, do that, and also don't forget this button right here.
Bullshit level, DEFCON 5. That ain't even bullshit. That's horse shit.
Anyway, guys, with that in mind, enjoy your weekend and stay sane. Accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative. stand guard at the door of your mind, all that stuff. And we'll talk again tomorrow. And one day at a time, baby. Boom, 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 boom. One day at a time. One day at a time. Adios, amigos. Enjoy your weekend.